What's up, everybody? Matt Moda here to give you 3 NFL player prop bangers for Thursday night football we have this week. So it's a pretty good game. It's Bills versus Dolphins, and I'm going to have, again, 3 player props for you guys to hammer for this game, 2 of which are of the plus money banger variety, which is always fun. If my voice sounds a little cracky, I apologize. I am currently I have the Rona, so currently a little bit sick, although I feel fine, just a little bit congested, all that stuff. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Still clear enough mind to cash some bangers. As for week 1, amazing. The 3 categories that I bet, we were profitable in all 3, with the player props having the most profit by far. I gave out 3 early picks against the spread, 2-1 on those. I gave out 2 underdogs to win straight up, 1-1 on those, but because of the odds, we were profitable. And then player props was just incredible. Week 1 NFL player props up over 5 units. Absolutely amazing. Let's keep it rolling for week 2, starting with this video on Thursday Night Football for the Thursday Night Football game. If you are new to my channel, I promise I don't always sound like this. I don't always have the coronavirus, but I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then for this specific video, if you could comment, I would appreciate that as well. And then I also do have a dub club where I send all my plays out for only $5 a month. Gets everything I'm playing sent directly to your phone. So if you're interested in that, check out, the link is in the description as well as the pinned comment. Let's start talking about bangers. Enough of all that nonsense. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here in the Bills versus Dolphins game, we are taking Josh Allen, anytime touchdown, -115 odds at DraftKings. So this line initially opened up at -105. DraftKings was the first to the market at -105. You should almost never bet anything if it's the only book available with odds. So I wanted to wait and see all the other books open up with odds. Ended up being obviously a little bit of a mistake because the odds are now -115. We could have gotten better. The good news is I would still take it at this number, at -115. It's what I put out at Dub Club. It's what I bet myself, and I would obviously still take it at this number. Just compare, at this point in time, recording this Tuesday afternoon, compare the -115 to every other book. The closest book that we see is FanDuel at -135. Then we have Bet365 at -138, and then Caesars -200. I don't know what the heck Caesars is doing. -200 is just ridiculous for this play, for any touchdown that's not Christian McCaffrey. But that's all to say, the -115 odds is actually a really good price. I do all this line shopping. I use OddsJam and their line shopping tool. As for the play itself, we were on Josh Allen anytime touchdown last week. Not only did he score a touchdown, he actually scored 2 touchdowns. Granted, we only needed him to score 1, but hey, still scored 2. And he had another rushing touchdown called back due to an offensive penalty. This is something that Josh Allen has now done. He scored a rushing touchdown in 9 of his last 11 games. He led the Bills in red zone carries last year. And as of week 1, he had 5 red zone carries. The only player in the NFL, including the running back position, that had more red zone carries than Josh Allen was Saquon Barkley, who had 8. Josh Allen had 5. Obviously, he had the most of any quarterback. And again, only Saquon Barkley had more. The reason why this is a play is because Josh Allen is the Bills' red zone running back. Even if they don't call his number on a designed quarterback running play, he could easily scramble and score, which is how he scored in week 1. Granted, he hurt his wrist jumping into the end zone and landing on his wrist awkwardly, so that's not great, but he's healthy. He's going to play. And while I will admit the Dolphins defense did look good in week 1, and the Bills passing offense was a little bit clunky, it took kind of the second half for them to get going. Granted, that game was super windy, but regardless, these 2 offenses, you project this game is going to be a shootout. You know Josh Allen, when he gets close to the red zone, he's going to call his own number. -115, still a good price for that. That's play number 1. Play number 2, I am taking Devonta Anan, also to score a touchdown, +115 odds at DraftKings. So I bet this at +110. It actually went even better to +115 at DraftKings. Obviously, take the better number. Even if by the time you're watching this, that +115 is not available, as long as you can get it for plus money, I would bet Devonta Anan to score. Now, to get the negative out of the way first, he's currently questionable to play with an ankle injury. If he ends up getting ruled out, then this play is just going to get refunded. No harm, no foul there. Kind of like the Christian McCaffrey play. He didn't play, so we got our money back. If he plays, in my opinion, this is a smash play on Devon Anan to score a touchdown. The guess is if he plays, he's going to be healthy enough to play, so I'm not going to be worried about them limiting his work or anything like that, especially when they get close to the red zone. Now, the Bills' defense. I did not think that they were great last week watching the game. Even though they only gave up 270 yards of total offense, I mean, that number is pretty good. I don't think they look great. I think that, in my opinion, the low yardage total that they allowed was more on the Cardinals as it was the Bills' defense. The Cardinals, they were moving the ball at will in the first half. Everything was just short passing. They refused to do anything to test the Bills vertically, and they had chances to do so. Some of it was unlucky with Marvin Harrison being wide open on the last play of the game and Kyler just missing him, but Kyler started the game with a very efficient passing game. I was doing really well in the first half, but he only ended up with 162 passing yards. This is all to say that I do not think the low yardage that the Bills allowed is representative of how the defense actually played. And the belief is that the Dolphins are going to be able to move the ball against the Bills and are going to score a bunch of touchdowns, at least have the opportunity to, especially at home. Now, the Dolphins, in their week 1 game, lower scoring output. After a slow start, they kind of really turned it on as the game went on. They ended the game with 400 yards of total offense. Tua had 338 passing yards specifically. So I think the Dolphins are going to be able to move the ball. And Achane was actually the Dolphins' red zone running back. Now, Mostert got banged up too, which is part of the reason why I like this for Achane, is that when both were healthy, it was Achane. Now, if he plays, I think it'll obviously be him. And Mostert, again, is already banged up. Achane was the Dolphins' red zone running back, and he got most of the usage in general. Now, the Dolphins only had one running play in the red zone. It was a weird game. That running play went to Achane, and that running play was a touchdown. Achane also had 2 targets in the red zone as well. The most important stat here is that no other running back on the Dolphins logged any meaningful statistic in the red zone. They didn't do anything, not a single target or a single carry. It all went to Achane. So again, if he plays, it's because, in my opinion, he will be healthy enough to play. Get the Lions' share of work if he plays. And the fact that they used him as their goal line back last week is just a really, really good sign for his usage moving forward. So I think getting him to score a touchdown at a plus money price, plus 115, plus 110, whatever it may be, is very, very good. Next up, our third and final pick of the video. I'm taking James Cook, 20 plus receiving yards, plus 107 odds at BetRivers. Now, for those of you that are like me and you cannot bet anything meaningful at BetRivers, the pivot would be, and this is what I actually bet myself, would be 25 plus receiving yards, which you can get at plus 140 odds at either DraftKings or Bet365. But if you can bet at BetRivers, the 20 plus at plus 107 is another just absolute smash play, in my opinion. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this price, which maybe that's always a bad sign because it's like, all right, the books know what they're doing. And I got to admit, I should have been on James Cook receiving in week 1. I was on Dalton Kincaid, and I like the Kincaid angle. I'm not going to pretend that I just was forcing it or anything like that. I did like the angle. I should have been on James Cook as well. Now, this was a study done by the Fantasy Footballers in 2020. It's continued to be true. They talk about it. It's continued to be true even 4 years later. But whenever you see a team with a ton of vacated targets from their previous season, the biggest benefactor of those vacated targets the following season is actually the running back position. That's obviously James Cook this year with the Bills losing Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. The Footballers tracked 2017, 2018, and 2019. And the majority of teams that had the most vacated targets, like top 7, top 10, majority of those teams, the biggest increase of their target share was to the running back position. In the Bills' case, that would be James Cook. He's already a good receiving back, and now he should figure to get more receiving work than he got last year when he went over this number in 9 of 19 games. That started in week 1 when he finished the game with 32 receiving yards, which would have cashed this over, and also 3 receptions. Now, 3 receptions on 3 targets. Now, 3 targets might not sound great, but keep in mind, Josh Allen did spread the ball around on the Bills. And as I mentioned, that game was incredibly windy, so the passing offense just really wasn't that great for the Bills in general, especially the first half. And only one player on the Bills had more than 3 targets, which was Keon Coleman. I don't really trust any of the receivers. Kincaid, maybe that's just an L that I'll have to take because I was really high on him heading into the year. But I do think that that the consistent target share that James Cook is going to get is something that you can rely on week over week. So I think that, Keon Coleman got 5 last week. Next week, maybe it's Curtis Samuel. Maybe it's Khalil Shakir. I do think that regardless, Cook is going to get his 3 to 5 targets. I think he's going to be used pretty heavily and frequently in the passing game. So I think the 20 plus yards I think he could easily cash that for us. And the 25 that I actually took for 3/4 of a unit, I also think he could easily cash. And that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Dub Club if you are interested. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.